I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I have been reflecting on the political landscape in Africa, and I have been wondering why somebody like Paul Biya can rule Cameroon for 42 years. At the age of 93, he still wants to contest election. And there was a place where he couldn't go. They took his effigy and that of his wife to go and campaign there. And you sit down, you start wondering why. I think there is one in Equatorial Guinea there also that is also very old. How do these people manage to hold power for this long? And how do we relate that to the situation we are currently in or moving towards in Nigeria? Remember, I have a master's degree in public administration from the Department of Political Science. I made the best result. I had 10 A's, so I know what I'm talking about. Number one, if somebody wants to stay in power in nations like Nigeria and Africa, Cameroon and all that, you practice entrenched patronage. You see, when you practice entrenched patronage, you get loyal supporters, give them control over key positions, give them contracts that they don't merit, put them in positions that they don't merit. Then you ensure loyalty from such positions, and then you maintain control over them. So you appoint people, you give them offices. Like in Cameroon, some ministers have been there for years, 20, some 30 years. When you select somebody who is likely to be very tough, you make him a minister. And like as I said, somebody who has meat in his mouth will not argue, will not whistle. Then there are 10 things I'm going to say. Number two, divide and rule tactic. So you make sure that you plant stooges in the opposition parties, you make them fight each other, then the opposition parties become very weak and they cannot use state machinery like as you have. You don't have the security forces and whatever. You don't have enough money. And then you bring tribalism into it, bring religion into it. You use the head of one person to knock the other inside the political party. The party will disintegrate and they are not able to bring a formidable force into the contest. And so you will win the election. Like in Cameroon, it's a simple majority, you win the election. The next thing is authoritarian tendencies. You come down forcefully, any dissent, any protest, you come down and crack down on the people. You arrest any opponent, jail them, imprison them, and then you use brute force. Use brute force. I was watching in Madagascar until the army switched over to the Gen Z generation. A policeman lit the hair of a young lady, set fire on it, and like in Kenya, brute force. Nigeria, sometimes brute force. 20th of October 2020, is it 10th of October 2020 or 20th of October? NSAS, brute force, crush them. That's the way the oligarchy finds. I don't advocate violence, but this is what is prevalent. The man in Sudan that used to carry a stick with Bashir also, brute force. In Egypt, Mubarak, brute force. Use brute force to frighten the opposition apart from dividing them. Then suppression of dissent. Just raise your voice, they deal with you. You see what they nearly did to Natasha. All these cyberbullying laws and all that is just to suppress dissent so that you can't raise your voice. Sometimes in some countries, they plant spies everywhere. Charles Cesco did it in Romania. Plant spies everywhere. If you say anything before you know it, they've come for you. Suppression of dissent. Limiting freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. I don't think you really need permission to protest in America, the United States, or in the UK. all over Europe because people protest any injustice, protest anything. The next thing is control over state institutions. You appoint the judges, you take care of them, give them money, make them comfortable. You know, the problem with if you want to suppress people, you give differential favoritism. Let there be weaponized poverty. When you weaponize the poverty, you start to select a few people to make them comfortable. If there is housing problem in Nigeria, you can give houses to judges, give houses to this set of people, corner a few people, give them carrots while you hold the stick. The control of parliament. Anytime you see a nation gravitating towards a parliament that has no strong opposition, when a parliament becomes a rubber stamp, it's very, very dangerous. Anything can happen after them. And then control over the security force. These individuals make sure that those who had very sensitive positions in the army, air force, police, navy are their cronies. In some cases, I think, I don't know this country, their children, their in-laws, their brothers can be in charge of the security and they control people, they monitor people. So then the next thing is to control the electoral umpire. You appoint the electoral umpire, you control the electoral umpire. Why will it take 14 days for elections results to be released? Control the electoral umpire and stuff their mouth, give them opportunities to steal, to do whatever. The new INEC chairman in Nigeria is saying that Beavers was not programmed to do electronic transmission of results. So the thing was programmed to fail right from origin. It was not backed by law, according to what I heard. Maybe I'm not too intelligent to understand. So control the electoral umpire. Then when you control the judiciary, you control the parliament, you control the security forces, then you can manipulate the constitution to put unlimited terms of contesting. You can contest as long as you are still breathing. And because you control the judiciary, you control the security forces, control all parliament. Parliament will just rubber stamp anything you bring to them. Then the next thing is the use of palliatives in the midst of weaponized poverty. That's number 8. The use of palliatives in the midst of weaponized poverty. Intentionally allow poverty to reign. You reduce the purchasing power of the people. You create unemployment. You make sure that they don't have access to purchasing power and things. And usually in the midst of low productivity, and these people would now be looking up to you. So you just bring rice, you bring tissue paper, you bring bread, you bring money, you bring drink. Because you have pauperized the people, they will just run after you and vote for you, and you give them what cannot satisfy them. The next thing is that number 9, in most countries where they have this kind of long rulership, suppression, and papatocracy. These people like enjoyment too much. So, like in Russia, alcohol was all over the place. Vodka, and you make it cheaper than petrol. You see, anywhere somebody rules over them for long, they like enjoyment. And because they like enjoyment, they are afraid to die. They like enjoyment. They just want to, I beg, leave them. All die and I die, I beg, leave them. How long? And with poverty, low life expectancy, lack of ambition, you just see that the people like enjoyment. When I see, I have a lounge just in front of me here. I have another one there. I have all over. The people like enjoyment. Nigerians like enjoyment, for example. We like enjoyment. You know, go to our burials. Go to our weddings. All around Africa, you see people wedding, they'll be dancing as if they are not going to pay school fees, as if they are not going to pay house rent. We just like anything enjoyment in Africa. Any of such nations enjoyment. And because they like enjoyment, the leadership will look for one star in that area. That's why our campaigns, we must look for one musician to come and play, to come and one celebrity to come and associate, one actor to come and associate. Samuel Eto'o will wear Biya's shirt. Samuel Eto'o, are you something wrong with your brain? In the countries where you stay and play football, is it this kind of old men that rule then? Samuel Eto'o, head effects, emotionalism. People will just see Samuel Eto'o dance and do one thing, and then they will just follow Eto'o's footsteps. And so people who like enjoyment too much, alcohol, women, entertainment, they never ever revolt. Never ever revolt. Then number 10, religion and culture. Let me tell you one thing. I can predict this October 20th call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. If the protest is going on, you will see the next thing is the military will roll in their tanks. The police will come with water cannons and bullets to frighten a few people. Any of the leadership that they know that has a criminal record or one thing, they'll go and arrest that one, start a court case or one thing against those ones. People will start shrinking, and then they will do one thing, arrest people. Before you know it, traditional rulers will come out. Let there be peace, traditional rulers will come out. After that, they will bring spiritual leaders. Spiritual leaders will say peace and that and that. That's how nations are suppressed. They will use religious leaders. They will use traditional rulers. They will use opinion makers. They will go and look for one, give them money. The same people, they will give them money. Then you will see, particularly from your tribe, you will start seeing Igbo youth for national development. They will come out and do press conference, condemn Showore. Yoruba youths for national integration will come out and condemn Showore. Then you will see one political person from the southeast will come and condemn the movement, divide and rule. And then they select people, put meat in their mouth and change their language. That is the way it works. And progressively, after some time, the trauma, they did an experiment. They took dogs. I've forgotten the name of the experiment. They traumatized them. When they put food and the dogs wanted to eat, they traumatized them. And so the dogs, when they see food, they associate it with trauma. When they now brought food without an intention to traumatize them, the dogs couldn't go and eat the food. But when they brought dogs that had not been traumatized, they were able to jump and go and eat the food. The problem that people are going to have, my generation, that have spoiled their nations, the problem they are going to have is that these children we raised with so much comfort, they don't fear what we fear. They don't fear what we fear. Number two, they've seen in those days we had only one television station, one radio station, but today they are seeing all over the world. They can communicate, they can mobilize, they have traveled, they've seen, and so you cannot cajole them with religion, with traditional rulers, and with superstars. They will bust you, So we are entering a phase in Africa where the old tendency of coalescing in one political party around power to exploit and suppress the people with manipulation from colonial masters will not work in this generation. Because just like the movement for independence, most of the movements for independence started at the end of the Second World War, when our people traveled to go and fight in Burma, present-day Myanmar, went with white people to go and fight, and they saw that the white man also cries, and they saw the development there. They said, wow, we must build our nations. That's how the independence movement started. I think Ghana gained their independence in 1947, and then some other nations like Egypt and all that before it percolated to Nigeria. And so we're going to head into a windstorm, the hurricane of Gen Z, whose fathers were suppressed but refused to be suppressed because they are the ones feeling the brunt, feeling the pains. They are the ones who are being deprived of opportunities by my generation. They are seeing that we are preparing our children to take over from us. And they are saying, no, you cannot perpetually imprison us. Like in Cameroon, they decided to choose a better devil, Issa Chiroma Bakre. They decided to choose a better devil. If you brought him to divide and rule us, we play against you. We will choose him. And so in different nations in Africa, we're going to experience more turbulence. We're going to see more autocratic attempts to suppress people. And if care is not taken, there will be violence and military takeovers in several African nations. There is good news coming to Nigeria. Something is about to happen that will bring more foreign exchange to Nigeria. I will say it in the next video. Nigeria Konibaje. I have a webinar coming up on the 7th of November. The mystery of the 3 levels of personal introduction. I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. This one you are looking at is a level of introduction. There is another level of introduction that you don't know, and I will share the mysteries with you. They don't teach you that in church, but it's biblical. I will use the Bible to teach you. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62 to register for the webinar, 7th of November. We have properties for sale, and we have consultations that people book appointments for from all over the world. I will usually ask them, was the time worth it? They will say more than. Thank you so much. God bless you, bless you, bless you. Africa is waking up.